Hello, friends. So this is your ELA lesson for Monday, February 24th, 2025. In case you've forgotten, I'm your teacher, Miss Smith. Oh, before I do anything of that, you need to read the passage, deforestation, and then answer the two questions. What change, if any, is needed in sentence? And should sentence 3 be changed? Or how should sentence 3 be changed? While you're doing that, read the passage first and then answer the questions. I'm going to finish going through the warm-up page, and then I'm going to pause the recording. You pause also and read, answer the questions, and we'll unpause and do your work. Okay, here we go. My brain is done today. All right, so my name is Miss Smith. My number is 682-777-9474. Our class, my email is, did I say that all right? My email is csmith@lsoa.org. All right, our class expectations, we're going to L, listen carefully so that N, everyone can learn. E, enter prepared and stay engaged. A, arrive on time. R, be respectful. You are learning and learning, and everyone else. And N, never, ever, ever give up. We're going to be safe with our learning. That means no sharing outside links or personal information. Appropriate with our clothing, conversations, and backgrounds. Friendly, helpful, and encouraging at all times. And with our environment. No distracting noises on the mic. No distracting images on the background, and no distracting conversations in the chat. With that being said, I'm going to pause my recording. You're going to pause yours. You're going to continue reading, and you're going to answer those two questions. So I'll meet you in like 3 minutes. Alrighty, Rude. So, deforestation. People cut many trees down for new construction and other paper products, but they don't know that deforestation causes global warming. As you cut down trees, more carbon dioxide is released. This excess carbon dioxide in the air causes global warming. Essentially, heat is being trapped in the atmosphere. Deforestation is also hurting our environment. It can lead to removing animal habitats, which means animals won't have anywhere to live. If they don't have anywhere to live, this could lead to animals becoming endangered. Trees are also important because they remove carbon dioxide from the air. They make our air cleaner. Okay, so our questions were, what changes, if any, is needed in sentence 5, and then how should sentence 3 be changed? So let's look at our answer choices for the first question. So what changes, if needed, are needed in sentence 5? I'm going to go to sentence 5 and highlight that. So essentially, heat is being trapped in the atmosphere. So delete the comma after essentially. Change is to was. Change trapped, T-R-A-P-E-D, to trapped, T-R-A-P-P-E-D, and then D, no change is needed. So the first one, change, delete the, it says delete the comma, and it should be delete the comma after essentially. So whenever we say essentially, comma, or but, comma, that comma we know is like a breather. Essentially, it gives us like a moment to like, hey, this is important. We need to pay close attention. So do we need to, is that what we need to do? No. So leave that one on there. I'm going to eliminate that answer choice. Change is to was. So essentially, heat is being trapped in the atmosphere. So it's saying change is to was. So essentially, heat was being trapped in the atmosphere. So that means it happened, but we're cool now. No, it's not happening anymore. Yeah, that doesn't sound right either. Get rid of that. All right, change trapped, T-R-A-P-P-E-D, to trapped, T-R-A-P ED to TRAPPED. Exactly. That is one that we need to do. Very good. And then get rid of that one. All right. And how should sentence 3 be changed? So let's look at sentence 3. As you cut down trees, more carbon dioxide is released. Changed. As you cut down more trees, more carbon dioxide is being released. Change you to they. Insert a comma after trees. Delete more. No change should be made. So as you cut down more trees, more carbon dioxide is released. All right. Sorry, my brain just froze for 3 seconds there, or a little bit longer. Sorry. So, who's cutting down the trees? They say at the beginning, people cut many trees down. But then in sentence 3, it's saying you. Ryan's cutting down the trees, and Kyrie's cutting down the trees, and Naomi's cutting down the trees, and Kendall's cutting down the trees. Yeah. Last time I checked, y'all are not going out there and you third graders are not going down and cutting down the trees. Are y'all? Are y'all going down and cutting down the trees? I mean, if y'all are, and that's why some of y'all aren't coming to class just like you're supposed to, Carter, is that why you haven't been coming to class? I thought it was because you're playing Roblox. But if it's because you've been going down and cutting down trees, causing global warming, we need to talk, my friend. So, what do you think? Change the you to they. Because whenever it has a you, they're talking about you. They're talking about you, Kaya. They're talking about you, Zach. They're talking about you, Ezra. What do you think? I agree. It is change the you. Insert a comma after trees. So really when we're inserting a comma, it means more unless it's that breather, hey, it's when we're combining sentences, we're combining ideas. And we're not really combining anything. So get rid of that, delete more. Bloop. We're going to say as they cut down more trees, more carbon dioxide is released. As they cut down trees, carbon dioxide is released. Well, I mean, yeah, but we're saying even more because they're cutting down more trees. So, no, yeah, we're sticking with A. We feel solid about A. All right, let's keep going. All right. So today, we're talking about how we can reread passages to find the main or central idea and the author's purpose. Then we are going to compare and contrast those passages and use them in our writing. Sorry, my brain is just done. All right. We have some academic vocabulary. Author's message. It is a noun. It is the main idea or important lesson the author wants us to take away from the passage. Author's purpose. It is, once again, a noun. It is why an author wrote the text or passage. It is to persuade, inform, or entertain. Evidence. That is information from that text that the author, that we as the reader uses to help explain our thoughts or ideas. And then inference, which is a noun, is a smart guess that we make based off of clues from the passage and our own schema, our background knowledge, what we already know. So, a couple of weeks ago, we read Celebrating Leaders, President's Day. And then last week, we read another passage. We'll get to that in a few moments. What we are going to be doing is we're going to take both of those passages this week, and we're going to talk about those passages and how we're going to really think about how look at the author's purpose of those passages and compare the author's purpose. We're going to look at the main idea of those passages, compare the main idea of those passages, and the message in both those passages, and compare the message in both those passages so that you can write a paragraph. You're just writing a paragraph. If you want to kick it up a notch and write two, that would make my heart happy. But my goal is for you to write one solid, really strong, passage that compares both of these passages and tells the reader. That reader could be like your learning coach, your parent, Miss Smith, your classmates, your table mates, how you think these passages are alike and how you think they're different. And not just like, I think they're different because one has time travel and one doesn't. I think they're alike because they're both about presidents. Like, we got to go a little bit more than the surface, and we have to like really dig deep. So today we're going to just review our passages, review our 5 W's, and then we're going to do a Venn diagram. So, celebrating leaders, President's Day. President's Day is celebrated on the third Monday of February. It honors significant leaders in American history. Particularly George Washington and Abraham Lincoln. This day encourages reflection on their contributions, such as Washington's leadership during the Revolutionary War and his role as the nation's first president, and Lincoln's dedication to preserving the Union and ending slavery during the Civil War. Communities and schools commemorate this day through educational events and activities that promote respect for the presidency and its values. So when we looked at in our 5 W's when we created it, who is this passage about? It was President's Day, which celebrates important leaders of the United States like George Washington and Abraham Lincoln. Where is it celebrated? People celebrate President's Day all over the United States. It's not just celebrated in one particular place. When is it celebrated? President's Day happens on the third Monday of February every year. What happens? It is a day to honor and remember the hard work of past U.S. presidents. Read, Miss Smith. And why? Why does this happen? We celebrate this day to thank and respect presidents who helped shape our country and made important decisions. Then we had presidential time travelers, a lesson in honor and history. Mia, Jamal, and Emma traveled through a magic portal to meet George Washington and Abraham Lincoln. Washington needs help encouraging his soldiers so the kids remind them why they are fighting for freedom. Then they meet Lincoln, who is nervous about his speech. The kids help him feel confident by reminding him that his message about freedom is important. After their adventures, they return to their classroom, wondering if it was all real. Through their journey, they learn about honor, reflection, and the impact of great leaders in history. So, who was involved in this passage? It was Mia, Jamal, Emma, who traveled through time to meet George Washington and Abraham Lincoln. Where did this all happen? The kids traveled through a magical portal to the soldiers' camp with Washington and a log cabin with Abraham Lincoln. When did this happen? The story happened on a cold February morning during a lesson about presidents. Remember, it did not happen in the past. That is very important to remember. I know I didn't really specify that in the summary, but if you go back into the passage, it began on a cold February morning, and as soon as the last time travel portal portaled them back to their classroom, it was as if time had not changed at all. So they went right back to that cold February morning. So when did it happen? It was that cold February morning. What happened? The kids helped George Washington inspire his soldiers, and they helped Abraham Lincoln practice his speech about freedom. Why did this happen? Yes, why did it happen? The kids learned about honor and history by helping two great leaders and understanding why their actions were important. So, why did it happen? It didn't, because they weren't going back in time to change history. That was one of the questions like we kept circling back to on Thursday. Remember, they weren't changing history. History never changed. They kept wondering, why do we have to learn about this? Remember, they were sitting in class that cold February morning, kind of like y'all. Whenever you're like, why do you have to do this? I don't want to do this. I want to go to tables. I want to play Gimkit or Blookit. I want to do this. Why? There was a method to the madness, remember? Why did they have to do this? Why do they travel back in time? So that they could learn about honor and history by helping those two great leaders. They didn't change history. They just kind of helped inspire. Nothing changed from history. They used their knowledge of the future to like, hey, if you do this, this is how great the future will be. And then the soldiers like, yeah, let's keep fighting. And Lincoln, keep writing your speech because your speech is going to be so great. This is what happens. And Lincoln's like, yeah, totally. I'm going to write this speech and it's going to be an amazing speech. That's why they traveled back in time, to understand why these actions were so important. The vocabulary words that you had for both these passages were critical, which is a noun, a very important or essential. Our non-example sentence was non-example. Jamal forgot to bring his book to class, but it didn't matter because they were not using it that day, so he did not think it was critical or not very important. Example sentence, George Washington and Abraham Lincoln played critical roles or very important roles in American history, helping the country grow stronger and more united. Demonstrate, a verb to show respect or recognition for someone or something. A non-example sentence, Mia sat quietly and refused to show the class how to solve the math problem. That means she did not show a recognition for what was going on. She was like, no, I know the answer. I know how to do it. But no, I'm keeping my knowledge to myself. An example sentence would be, students can demonstrate their respect for these leaders by participating in activities that teach about their achievements and values. Honor, which is a noun, to show, respect or recognition for someone or something. The children decided, non-example sentence, the children decided to throw their trash on the ground instead of keeping the classroom clean. So they decided, hey, I don't need to show respect for my classroom. I don't need to show respect for my park or whatever. I'm going to be a litter bug. An example sentence, on President's Day, we honor George Washington and Abraham Lincoln by remembering their leadership and sacrifices, the sacrifices they made for our country. And lastly, reflect. A noun, to think carefully about something. A non-example sentence, Emma immediately blurted out the answers without thinking about whether or not it was correct. She did not think. She did not reflect. Example sentence. This holiday gives us a chance to reflect, think back on how these presidents shaped our nation and guided it through difficult times. So, you have, if our page will load, there we go. You have two activities you need to do. The first one, stop and think, answer the 2 questions. Why do you think comparing and contrasting the author's purpose and message in these 2 passages is important? So that is the first part, and then you go to your drop up thing, and then you'll answer the second one. What should you look for to see how they are alike and how they are different? So what should you look for in these passages to see how they are alike and different? And then you're going to go to your Venn diagram for celebrating leaders, President's Day, and presidential time travelers. A lesson in honor and history. When you do that, click on your instructions. It will open up and you will have your full passage for celebrating leaders, presidential time traveler. You'll have your 5 W's for that passage. Then you'll have your full passage for presidential time travelers, and then your 5 W's along with the vocabulary for both. With that being said, doodles and apple strudels, please make sure that is done, because if that is not done, it's going to really make the rest of this week hard for you guys, okay? So please make sure that is done. And with that, my friends, I will see you guys tomorrow. I love you all. I miss you already. Hasta tu velocista. Goodbye.